You've got to tell me, Mr. Kiri, if this is actually working. It should be. Because...
Live. It says live. It says live.
He's not even singing, but I am. It doesn't matter, I'm singing.
It loading. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it loading? Is it loading? Is it loading?
Yeah.
Is it loading? Why isn't mine working? But why do I want to watch it back
dunno.
anyway? Is it loading? Why isn't
You
mine
can see
working? Yes,
yourself.
I'm
What's going
watching
on
it. I
there?
just heard it. I can see myself
You've
anyway.
not- Oh, that's a terrible colour, Rizzle Sims. You haven't missed anything, matey boy. But, dear Lord, I cannot read that colour. Oh!
This is obviously an amazing stream of me just dancing. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tea and Biscuits. Tea. Oh, shit. That's now in my keyboard, but tea. And I've ate the biscuits. Here's the wrapper evidence. I ate the biscuits, so there you go.
Well, I have already had 4 cups of tea today. And so I kind of fancied a change, so I've got wine.
What?
I also had half a packet of custard creams earlier. Because 2 is not enough.
Now, there's a problem with custard creams. There's a problem. Like, you open the... Actually, I've got a story to tell, Mr. Kirioff. When I was a young whippersnapper, I still am, but when I was, right? A member of my family used to work at the biscuit factory. There isn't just one biscuit factory, there's loads.
The biscuit factory?
Yeah, that's what they used to call it, the biscuit factory, yeah. And they were on the chocolate finger production. But this meant that they got loads of chocolate fingers. And I am not joking you, this is the most biscuits I have ever seen in my life. You know, like a massive Tupperware box. Like, it's so big, I'd have to literally go all the way over here, like, sit down here, like, this big, that big, right?
What the hell?
Honestly, it was massive. And it was, like, round like a barrel, right? And it was full to the brim. So, I started eating these.
Oh, God.
Right? I must have been about 9 years old, if that. And I ate them.
You
and
nearly died?
No, I just kept eating them. And then I had to go in the car. My mother was taking me somewhere. And I was sick everywhere.
Oh, dear.
Like, you know, like projectile. I just kept eating, no. Like, it goes
See,
to
I-
Hell March.
See, I had something similar where my grandma, when she was alive, she had a thing about mince pies. She used to cook us loads of mince pies. And she made them every Sunday. So we'd go around on a Sunday and she'd feed me mince pies. Only once we went round and my mum and dad had to be somewhere. So they left with my gran and my granddad. And she seemed to forget that she'd already fed me like 4 mince pies. And I ate about 20 over the course of the afternoon. And I managed to get home and everything was fine. And then we went out for Sunday lunch and I took a single bite of lamb and threw up all over my dinner. And I got a severe bollocking, and they wouldn't believe me that it was not my fault. It was my gran. She just kept feeding me mince pies. But no, it was my own fault. I should have said no. But no.
Could not
She was
resist.
She was like, do you want another one? And I was like, I think probably about 7 or 8. So I was like, yeah, I want another one. Of course I want another one. So she just kept giving me them. I was like, ooh.
Here's the thing. Why is it called mince? Mince meat, isn't it?
I know this. I know
Why?
this. It's because it never used to be made with what it's made with now. Mincemeat used to be exactly that. It used to be a savoury dish that rich people would have on Christmas Eve. And poor people couldn't afford it, so they'd use fruits and stuff that they'd pick out of orchards and so on. And so it became jokingly known as mince pies, because they couldn't afford the meat, but they could do it with fruit and veg. So they would make like a sweet version.
I am in... My God, Mr. Careful, I did not know that. I did not know that. That is amazing.
I only know
Okay.
this because someone... I think it might have been QI or something. It's just usually where I get most of my general knowledge of the television.
Oh, yeah. Because that's like not obscure general knowledge at all, is it? I mean, what the hell? You can't even call that general knowledge. That's just mad. Okay. So, chat, right? We do have a sub button now. And let me just talk to you about that before we begin. So, the sub button is obviously a good way to help Unit Lost, help the Twitch channel, and all that stuff, yeah? As far as icons go, the little star will be changed. It'll be like a Unit Lost logo or something fancy will go there. For the little crazy emoticon things, emote icons, whatever the hell you want to call them. There is one that's pending approval, and that's Crazy Sty Face. We'll get Kiri's Rage Face one sorted, and we'll probably get one of the GG button, because everyone seems to like that. Obviously amazing. And there was other ones like Biscuits as well, probably, and stuff like that. But we'll have to see. But they take a long time to go. And the banner on your main page still says TGS and not Polaris. What do you mean, Molten Toast? It doesn't. It should say Team Polaris on Twitch.
Or do you mean on the website?
Oh, yeah. No, on the website. The website needs to be updated anyway. Don't worry about that. Let me just...
It'll happen.
Scrolling through the chat, guys, so I can just see what's going on. So if you do sub, obviously, thank you. Thank you very much.
If you sub, you are a king amongst men. And we're loving your work.
Another thing with the stream updates, there is a time thing at the bottom of the stream now, which tells you when the stream's going to go live, so you can work that out for yourself by looking at it with your own very eyes and seeing the time zone that you're in and go, my god, that's when the stream goes live, and then you turn up and then we're big.
Tea and Polaris, good combination of hot beverage and an ICBM. Yes, tea, that is absolutely...
You know what, actually, when they did say to us, we're calling the network Polaris now and not the game station, because we want to attract not just gaming channels but all other manner of channels, we're calling it Polaris, and I'm like, well, I made some stupid comment like it's about to go nuclear, and I don't think anybody understood me. Although actually, I think it was the one of the top highest voted comments for a while on that video. But whatever. Yeah. We're here for the Q&A, Mr. Kirioff. And the first question is, well, we'll get to it when eventually it scrolls back round on the screen again. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to embed the question into the stream, because we're going to push this to Twitter, not to Twitch, we're on Twitch now, to YouTube, okay? So, it's coming round. I shall drink some tea to pass the time.
It's still a good system. We're not no mocking the system. It works.
It's horrendous. Maybe I should have put the Twitch chat in like we did before, but I'm not doing that. Okay, get ready. Here we go. So the first question is off Pablo, and he says, when enough of it scrolls on the screen for me to actually read, I was brought up on games like Sonic, Streets of Rage, with no capital R there, English fail boy, and Golden Axe with no capital A. I'm pretty sure they're names, so they should be capitalised. Where more times than not I'm going to increase the speed of this after this, guys. I would not complete the game as I would lose all my worth lives. My question is this. Oh my god, Cal, why? Do you think modern games, especially... Why is there a space there after the comment? Especially open world, why isn't world capitalised, games are less rewarding? Because this is the worst. There is no
this is not a good system.
Real risk of dying. That's the question, Mr. Kiria.
Right. Okay. I'm trying to remember the beginning of the question. Are games less rewarding than older games like Streets of Rage and Golden Axe? Is that so we're getting at? Okay, I don't think it would even be that much of an epic question.
Sure, this is the question. I was brought up on games like Sonic, Streets of Rage, and Golden Axe. Oh god. Where more times than not I would lose all my lives. My question is this. Do you think modern games are less rewarding because there is no real risk of dying? That is the question.
Right. I'm kind of curious as to why he felt the need to qualify open world games amongst that. Because actually, I'd say that open world games can be more rewarding than linear games. Because open world games give you more of a playground to explore, and you can do more stuff, and more mad shit is liable to happen.
Well, the thing
is, surely that's more rewarding than just a linear experience. To me, anyway.
The thing with this is, right, that people are most, let's say, gamers are like, they want to win. They know, games companies and developers know that from experience and even scientific results and research, I'll have you know, that if people win at the game, they'll generally play the game maybe longer, or they'll actually like the game more than if it's, you know, less rewarding. Let's say the games like Dark Souls, that's going to destroy most people. They're not going to play it. But a game like Call of Duty, let's say, you die in Call of Duty, you instantly respawn, you're back in again. I think actually we did a thing on this with Hotfix, didn't we? The fast food gaming thing, where it was this whole concept of people playing these games for just instant gratification, that if they die, it doesn't matter. I mean, as far as my opinion goes on it, this is actually quite relevant, because literally an hour ago I was playing Dark Souls with Rubicon, I cannot say his name, and he butchers me every time I get it wrong. Rui, right? And I never played the game at launch because, you know, there was problems with the PC port and all that. I didn't have a controller at the time, loads of stuff. I've gone back to playing it, and I am getting really into that game. And you know what? I now cannot wait for Dark Souls 2. So that's quite big, really. That's a difficult game. That's not an easy game. So, I don't know. I think, like, I would like to see more difficult games, but I think the sad reality of it is you're probably going to see easier games on the whole. Although I think there will be the odd difficult game. What do you reckon? Every now and
again. I'm more of the feeling that a game can be any difficulty that people want, as long as you've got the option. Like, I'd much prefer to see games that anyone can play, even if they play it on easy, but still have that option to ramp it up and make it 9 impossible for the people who want it. It's games where there's no option like that exists that get on my nerves. Because no matter how difficult you make Call of Duty, it's still going to be piss easy. And I think that's kind of dodgy. I think there should be an option there for the people who want a challenge. Because Call of Duty is not a challenge. It just isn't. It's the same with things like Assassin's Creed. It's just, that is the game. There should be a scaling on every single game that allows people who want to, you know, really have to work for their enjoyment to get it. And I don't know whether that's going to happen or not. I'd like it if it did, because then you could still have those people who just want to play the story, but you could also have those people who want to absolutely hammer the game into the floor and feel good about it. I didn't used to like really difficult games, but I have to admit, playing Dark Souls with Rui has actually made Dark Souls better for me than playing it by myself. And I'm actually looking forward to Dark Souls 2 now as well. But I don't think I'd want every game to be as difficult as Dark Souls. I think there needs to be... I think certain games should be, but I think other games there should be an option to just have it.
Again, difficulty is a whole different thing. I mean, like, if you look at me in particular, I would more prefer to play multiplayer games where there is an element of skill involved. Let's use StarCraft as an example. That is a difficult game at higher levels, but it's not at a lower level, yeah? But there's actually progression there, so that is more difficult. You're playing against human opposition and they're trying to beat you. So, I mean, Dark Souls is a difficult game, but it's not a I mean, okay, you can PvP in it, but it's not a PvP game, is it? It's not like, this is multiplayer. That's the whole point of the game. It's not, so... I don't know, that is really a topic, like I kind of said a bit earlier, where you could just go crazy on it and talk about that for ages. So, Cal, give us the next question. And while I'm getting it off Cal, you should put it into the chat, actually, as well, the stream chat. I'll get it into the stream, and Mr. Kirioff can do something entertaining while I'm doing that.
What? Hang on. Do you want a rage face for the whatever it is? The emote. How big is the emote? Is it like small? Emoticon? Emoticon? What is it?
It's 112
I don't even know.
by 112 pixels.
What? Is that it? What the
That's
hell?
the big
It's
one.
tiny. Jesus Christ. So I'm kind of cheerful. I don't know.
Slam. Shut up, Mr. Kirioff. You're doing my head in. Slam. I'll get onto that. My God, another mega question. Mr. Kirioff,
Jesus Christ.
You're reading that out of the chat, and I'm going to put it into the stream. So,
right, okay.
Begin, Squire.
Okay. Mr. Plopples, who is subscribed because he is a legend and a winner, says, what is your favourite game of 2013 so far? Where do you see the gaming industry going in the next 5 years? What type of monetization models will be used, and what other trends might you see? You tend to make more open Let's Plays in which you inject your own plot lines. Was this a conscious choice, or did it happen organically? I've just realised this is loads of questions all in one.
Yeah, what the hell?
Which one of you is the better gamer? What prison sentence should eating rich tea biscuits carry?
Okay, so there's about 10 questions there. Well done, Cal. What the hell? So... Okay, we'll start from the beginning. What's your favourite game of 2013 so far, Mr. Kirioff? What is your favourite game?
You know what? I can't really call it. There's honestly not been that much this year that has really jumped out at me. It's been kind of a good year for games.
It doesn't matter about games. Ooh, I'll slap the microphone. It doesn't matter about games coming out. What is your favourite game at the moment? Or has been in the last few months? What have you played the most?
Well, the thing I've played the most is actually Sins of a Solar Empire, which is ancient. But
well, there you go, whatever.
That's,
For me, I think the answer to this question is it hasn't come out yet, and it's The Witcher 3. Probably. I want that game in my life. Like, a lot of people don't really like Witcher 2, but a lot of people like Witcher 2. And even The Witcher, which was a great game in itself, although a little bit dated now if you go back and play it. For me, I really like that. I just like the fact it's an adult game. I mean, I went into The Witcher without knowing anything about the game. You know, I just picked it up. I was like, okay, I'll play this. I played it for a decent amount of time, but then I sort of let it go. Then I played The Witcher 2. So you could say that's a bit stupid. I kind of left the first game. But that game was, oh my god, that really captured me, that did. And in fact, I think there's a video on the channel from a long time ago with the dwarf song about raping your mother or something. You know, it's totally crazy. And I like that. So I'm looking forward to Witcher 3. I think that comes out this year. It'd be funny if it comes out next year, but I think it comes out this year. Yeah, Trish Marigold as well. She had a Playboy shoot. That was comedy.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Which is also on the channel as well, I think.
Complete with dodgy porn music as well. I seem to remember. That was
1970s. I would play it for you, but the streamer's not set up for that because actually. Well, I could, but I'm not going to bother. Whatever. So the next question is... Well, actually, I haven't really answered the question, have I? I've said what will probably be. My favourite game of 2013 so far is probably... You know, I quite like Far Cry Blood Dragon.
See, that was funky, but for me that was just like a little stupid thing.
Yeah, it was a little stupid thing, yeah. You only get a few hours out of it, really. I've actually, right, this is going to be a bit blasphemous, but I've actually quite enjoyed Grand Theft Auto 5, as, like, poorly written as the game is. It's been a fairly long time where I've just sat down and played a game, and it's just been stupid. And I'm just like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really care what I'm doing. And then it's like 3 hours later, I'm like, oh, well, that was quite entertaining. So that's probably... Rome 2 Whiskey, maybe. Rome 2 was... You know, I haven't checked Rome 2 out for a couple of weeks, so it may be better now. Well, I think it is. Because when I did check it out, I think it had one of the patches had gone through, so the performance was slightly better. But that was a letdown. But if you look at the history of Creative Assembly, that's what they do anyway. You know, the whole thing about them chasing Metacritic scores and shit like that, you know, they're dodgy.
Yeah.
It is just console heresy, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you say that, GTA 5 when it comes out on the PC is going to be ridiculous. Yeah. It better come out on the PC anyway. Because I want the multiplayer, but I don't want to do it on Xbox, because bollocks to that.
You know what they've actually done in terms of the... like what they've been able to manage on the Xbox, well, the last generation of consoles, is quite impressive. The visual quality is totally shit, but it's quite impressive, like especially when, with me, like if I'm playing a PC game, and then I come back, and then I'll have a go on Grand Theft Auto, I'm like... No, okay, I'm playing Grand Theft Auto, so I'm going to have to go all the way back here, like this, so now it looks acceptable. Because... oh shit, I'm putting my headset. Because if I dare to... my headset's put back in. If I dare to sit this close, it's just horrendous. So there you go. The next question is, where do you see the gaming industry going in the next 5 years? What type of monetization model will be used, and what other trends might we see?
Well, it'd be kind of easy to sit there and say, oh, free to play because everything's going free to play, but actually I don't think it's going to change massively over the next 5 years. There are certain games that are attempting to become free to play. Like the next Command and Conquer is going to be free to play, but no matter how you swing it, people might like free to play, but they don't like pay to win. And quite often, pay to win games don't do all that well.
Wait, you could argue
so they've got to find a balance.
Is pay to win as well. There's definitely stacked decks in that game because people have spent cash, and I got legendaries and all kinds of stuff. But I think, yeah, I think there is a shift towards free to play, but I think it's more to do with, like, if you look at like EverQuest Next, for example, where you've got the user generated content. If you look at Half-Life, Counter-Strike Go, Team Fortress 2, where you've got like the actual players of the game can create content that goes into that game.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're seeing a bit different, where all these like virtual economies are starting to be formed, where that was relatively unknown before.
Dota 2 as well.
Yeah, well,
I think
a lot of Valve
that's
games,
had I mean, Dota 2 I think has had the biggest impact in terms of using the community to create the content. I mean, even PlanetSide 2 is getting on that now, where people submit their own designs, so modifications for vehicles and suits and stuff, get part of the money, which is really, really clever. But I think we'll probably see more of that, but I don't think we're going to see everything going free to play, and I don't think we're going to see a change in traditional pricing, because frankly it works too well.
No, it'll go more.
If people... yeah.
I don't know. This console generation, the consoles usually have a big impact on that type of stuff. You know, talking about digital distribution and stuff like that. There is a lot of free-to-play stuff hitting the consoles. I think like Warframe, which actually has been an enjoyable game for me this year as well. That's free-to-play and stuff like that. So I don't know, but the consoles generally, you know, they're keeping their box sales. The price is going up. You know, I think in the UK you're probably looking at £50 a game easily. You've got to be.
We'll probably see more in the way of digital downloads on consoles. As far as I know, PlayStation 3 already has the option to download stuff digitally on day one, which Xbox 360 doesn't have. You've got to wait for it to come onto the marketplace. But I think probably both Xbox One and PS4 are both going to have way more in the way of launch titles that are available day one for digital. But for PC, I don't think there's going to be much of a change. I mean, we've already got a pretty good system on PC. A lot of the stuff is done digitally. A lot of the community creates content. They get paid for it. It's a good system so far.
Well, that's becoming a new job now, that is. You know, people actually make money off designing maps, designing items, and they make a lot of money. You know, we're not talking a couple of grand. We're talking like 50 grand a year. You know, that is a really good living. Like, so I think that's probably the main change. The free-to-play thing's been happening for a bit, you could say. It's going to happen more. But I think this whole like user-generated and games actually building economies around themselves is probably the big thing.
Yeah.
So I've lost the questions in the chat. Okay, next one.
You tend to make more open Let's Plays in which you inject your own plot lines. Was this a conscious choice, or did it happen organically? Yeah. That was pretty much... I'd say...
It's a conscious... Yeah, it was a decision that was like, basically, right, okay, let's talk about Let's Plays on YouTube. So a Let's Play on YouTube from Johnny Joe Blog's channel with 500,000 subscribers is generally this. Oh, look, a game has come out, Mr. Kirioff. It is Battlefield 4. So I'm going to do a Let's Play of its highly scripted, absolutely shit single-player campaign. And I'm going to provide stupid commentary. Oh my god, I shot that guy in his leg when I'm funny. That's what it is, right? That is not what we do. And I'm like, no, okay? Tried this before in the past with Dishonored, right? And it failed miserably. I knew it would fail. Why I did it, I don't know. I should have been slapped for doing it. Right? But nobody knows about that video because it's got no views and we don't care. So, how can you make a Let's Play, which I don't like calling them Let's Plays, a Let's Play for Unit Lost? Well, first of all, you don't call it a Let's Play, but you do on YouTube because that's what everybody calls it. But internally, you call it a series or an extended series, right? Mr. Kirioff hears this all day, but this is what you call it. And you say, we're going to come up with a story, something we can spin, a unique Let's Play. That's why we really like Civ. There is no story in Civ. I mean, at the moment we're currently at war with Gustavo. It's the flat pack face-off, the IKEA wars. Nobody else could come up with that. What? You know, so
and that's only happened due to another. It's a follow-on of other series as well. It's not like we've sat there and we've like, we need to create a backstory for going to war with Sweden. No, it's that. I mean, that side of it is kind of organic because we have sat down and tried to make something that's got a unique spin, that is uniquely us, our idea that we've come up with in that game. But because of the type of game that it is, what's happened in the game has influenced what's happened to the story as it's gone along, which is how we've ended up fighting Gustavo of Sweden. Because if someone just turned up and said, we are fighting Gustavo Adolphus of Sweden, and we're going to call it Flat Pack Face Off, the general response would be, what? Why? Well, that doesn't make any sense. But if you watch the Civ series that we've done, it's all led on from one story to another, and it's developed and created more stuff. Although I would actually say, I think in some ways although it is a conscious effort and it is deliberate, I think in some ways it is kind of organic, in that if you look at some of the stuff we've done with like the typical game of stuff, quite often mad stuff that would only happen with us happens in games anyway. No matter what the game is, quite often we'll end up writing our own little story purely out of what we've happened to do at the time. Like the World of Tanks one, for instance, I quite like that because even though there's lots of segments of clips and it's just from an evening of playing World of Tanks, there's still individual bits where it's like that wouldn't happen to someone else. The way that it's happened is not something that you could find anywhere.
Yeah. Basically, like the way we've approached this type of series stuff, especially with Civ, is it kind of makes its own series. And if you think about it, like from a YouTube perspective, that can endlessly make content. It's like we beat Gustavo, well, we've got to beat China and India still. Who knows what happens there? Something may happen there. And it just kind of makes its own story as it goes along. That's why I really like doing Civ, because it's really, really good and it's very unique. But yeah, we'll go on to the next question, because we'll be here on that question all day. I do like questions about YouTube as well, guys. Don't be afraid to ask. We don't care.
Which one of you is the better gamer? That would be Sty.
Well, it kind of depends,
Easily.
though. I'm much better. Well, I think I'm more competitive, but that's just the way I've been brought up. But I'm like, my reactions are faster. Having said that, though, you beat me quite often at Dawn of War 2, so... But I hadn't played for a while.
I don't play Dawn of War 2 at all, really.
You beat me ages ago, remember?
Ages ago. Yeah, but I hadn't played it for ages, apart from maybe the occasional Last Stand go when I'm feeling bored. But I think if I've got time to sit there and think for a bit, generally I can do better. I think I've got more of I'm not as fast off the mark, but I tend to come up with something that works first time when it works. If that makes any sense.
All right. Let's just say Mr. Kirioff's a bit more of a thinker. So why he played League of Legends for so long, we don't know. Next thing we've got is what prison sentence should eating rich tea biscuits carry death?
No prison, just death.
Like, rich tea is the worst biscuit I've ever seen. And like, there's one quality a biscuit must have. It has to go into the tea, okay? The rich tea cannot. It just dies. It goes in and dies. And then it's no longer a biscuit. So I ask you, what is the point of rich tea? They also have no calories, practically. They're mostly made of air. So how are you going to get fat off a rich tea biscuit? Unless you ate 1 billion of them. And if you bought 1 billion of them, well...
I'm afraid we'd have to execute your family as well. Just because, rich tea, 1 billion? No.
That's right, chat. It goes into the tea and just doesn't come out. Ooh, it's terrible. Okay.
You want a cup of tea, not a cup of sludge.
Kalinar, give me the next question.
We demand the question.
And thanks to the people subscribing as well, guys. I'm missing a lot of the chat because I am talking shit to Mr. Kirioff over Skype. Accept my apologies.
Come on, Cal. Where's the next question? Hey.
Read it, Mr. Kiri. Go on. I can do
Molten
this.
Toast Wizard, once again, best name. I just love that name. What were the hardest and best points in the history of Unit Lost? Well, wow. I think... Shall I just go straight into the hardest? Because I think we both know what the hardest was, really.
Do it.
That would be attempting to leave Machinima. Which was a soul-crushing and mind-numbing experience that took weeks and weeks because they're shitbags. And once they've got their teeth into you, they do not want to let go. And basically everything ground to a halt as we attempted to get away from them and transfer over to TGS because they're just... I mean, it's done now, it's finished, it's over. I'm not going to go into it in detail again because we've done that before, but
may as well.
If ever any of you want to start doing YouTube, for the love of God, don't accept anything off Machinima at any point.
I would even say TGN is a far better network than Machinima. TGN doesn't exactly give you any support, but they'll give you more money. And you need money to run your channel, ladies and gentlemen.
Or Machinima, Curse as well. Yeah,
Curse as well. Machinima,
I mean, they've got an open contract, which is quite good, but I don't know how much support they provide, but basically, whatever you do, don't go for Machinima, because they have a completely unethical way of working, which is they get you to sign the contract, they promise stuff that they will never ever deliver, and then they don't let you leave. That's all it is. It's a contract that basically means you cannot leave when you want to. They have to say, yes, you can go.
No, well, this was at the time when we did it. Maybe they've changed, I don't know, but Machinima are a broadcast network essentially, so they just get loads of channels like TGN, that's a broadcast network, like I think is it just Makers, what's it called, RPM network, broadcast, right? So all they're about is getting you into their system. We've got like some crazy Chinese music playing, by the way. We listen to all the Command & Conquer soundtrack as well from every game, but these broadcast networks are just interested in getting loads of people in, giving you adverts, and they take their cut and you hear nothing off them. That's fine in TGN's example, because that's what they say. That's what we are. Deal with it, right? Machinima said to me in private conversation, so I'm not really going to say exactly what they've said, but I'll give you the gist of it. We will give you this, 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 and this. We think you can grow to this size in this amount of time, so join our network. At the time, I'm like, you know what? We're not making any money off YouTube. Well, I was trying to get my own copyright agreements, but it was really slow. And the reason why that doesn't work so good, unless the game already has a statement which says you can monetize it, like Minecraft and things like that. If you made a video, wanted to upload it to YouTube, you had to email them to get the permission and the documents, which could take a few weeks, and then you upload the video. Video is no longer relevant. The video gets no views, you make no money, so it's totally pointless. So the reason why I went for Machinima was because I thought, okay, unit loss as a business, this will allow us to make some money. Not a lot, but it allows us to make some money. And they seem to be promising us the earth. Because I remember saying to Kirio, this looks amazing. You know, this is what we wanted. We were kind of clueless. Now we know shitloads about YouTube, but at the time we were clueless. And eventually, it just started to go south when a lot of the people I was speaking to just simply did not respond to any questions, because they only care about the massive channels. And we're talking the channels with like upwards of 500,000 subs, but they only care about them. They don't care about anybody else. And it's like, I think part of a network's job is to identify talent and say, this is a really good setup, we think this can get bigger, let's foster the growth. Not just say, fuck it, we don't care, especially when they've said they would do it. That's why we're part of TGS, or Polaris as it's known now, because we have independent channel managers. I can talk to them right now. I can talk to loads of different people. Didn't have that before. Yeah,
and it's the other problem is that it becomes really obvious when you attempt to leave Machinima, but they just don't care. Like trying to get in touch with people in Machinima is like, who are you? Yeah, we're part of your network. Oh right, okay. It's literally they don't know who they are. They're there to get you into the contract, and then they're there to keep you into the contract. Actually, interesting. I noticed in the chat a minute ago, someone said, Mr. Plopples, Machinima don't even produce Machinima. Actually, up until recently, Rooster Teeth and Machinima were partnered. Yeah, so Machinima were helping to fund Rooster Teeth's productions. Rooster Teeth left Machinima, I think because they just didn't need them anymore. They could get their own copyright agreements and so on. But for a while, Machinima and Rooster Teeth were actually, pretty close, and they still have ties. So Machinima, although it's kind of strange because they treat the smaller channels like shit, but they've done a lot to help bigger channels become successful, and they've done a lot to help places like Rooster Teeth, who are arguably the best. They're the best example of a Machinima creator these days who have made it big. And it's a catch-22, because I look at Rooster Teeth and I'm like, well, I'm glad they've made it because I enjoy their content. on the other hand, they're funded by Machinima, who treat people really badly. So it shows that they do have some interest in helping, but they only have interest in the biggest and the brightest. They don't have interest in anything else. Which, if you want to do that, fine, but make it clear you're doing that.
Yeah, what you've got to remember, at the end of the day, and this goes to everyone, and Mr. Kirov knows this as well, but this is a business for these guys, right? And they want the channels that get the most views, so you can completely understand that they put a lot of effort into, because it's all about money. You know, you want, let's use Polaris, you want PewDiePie to be a happy chappy, because he's making you millions of dollars, or God knows what in advertising, yeah? You do not want to piss him off by saying, I'm sorry, we're spending all our resources on unit lost, ha ha ha. So that's never going to happen. But, like I said, Polaris is a different thing, you do get support off them. Machinima, no, fuck you. Also, actually, I think there are, well, I don't know, there's quite a few, there's lows and highs almost all the time, but that's probably the worst time. Because that was when, you know, we had a business together, and the business we got rid of, and used all the money we had to start Unit Lost, which was going to replace it. So that was very much like, our destiny's not in our hands, and that's just bullshit.
Yeah,
you know, what's going on here? And that, like, I was fucking angry then. I was angry.
And that was just after I'd bought a house and had done it up as well. Well, was in the process of doing it up, and my wife and I just moved into this house as well. So it's like a double whammy. It was taking everything from the previous business and putting it into YouTube and making something out of that. And at the same time, it was quite a big upheaval for me and my wife to move house. And then it was like, Mishima was just going, no, fuck you. Really? Can you not just, I don't know, give us a break or something, let us leave, anything? But that was, I mean, I think that was the worst.
Well, the worst thing was, we were so small, we were making hardly anything, so why would they even care? You know, why they just may as well go, fuck off. Because we went fucking crazy. We put everything we had behind it. We got in contact with people like Husky, Lewis from the Yogscast. We made that video, it got thousands of views, it was top of Reddit. You know, it's like, you don't fucking piss people off who are in the business of producing content on YouTube, on a social platform, because they will fucking kill you, and then you'll die because their friends will get onto it. So it's just a massive PR disaster.
I mean, that was the bizarre thing as well. It was like, it would have made absolutely no difference if we'd have left. But it was just, that's their default state of the bullying mentality. No, you've done this, so fuck you. And it's like, well, yeah, hang on, we're not producing anything for you. Why are you forcing us into this? But it worked out in the end. Joined TGS, part of Polaris. So, I don't know. It was a bad point, but it was followed immediately by a ridiculously good part. So
that was my next. Sorry, chat. So the next thing is, what was the best part, or the best point so far?
For me, I still think one of the best parts that we've had was actually, it was probably set up by the fact we were trying to leave Machinima, but successfully getting into TGS was quite a high point, because like all the biggest channels and stuff, all the people that we'd sort of seen doing it were like part of TGS. So it was kind of like, oh god, we've actually, you know, we're in here. This is ridiculous. How have we managed this? So that was really good. Yeah. I think that was probably the best point for me. Whether that's because it followed such a shitty point, I don't know. Because there obviously have been a lot of high points. I mean, hitting 5,000 subs was a major high. So was 10 and 15 and 20, and it'll carry on up until we hit like 10 million or whatever. But
well, I remember. Yeah, it really was, because you got to think this Machinima thing was like a 2-month period where not much was done at all, because I didn't want to make videos to make them money. I even turned off all the adverts on all the videos, right? They wouldn't allow you to do this broadcast. You had to do it each video. So I went through. Wouldn't have had a lot of videos at the time, but turned them all off. But in the contract, it was worded in such a way where they could turn the ads back on. So I turned them off, and they turned them back on. And I'm like, fuck you. So that was just making me more angry. But we went from, right, so we haven't got a partner channel anymore, to all of a sudden, we're in talks with TGS, which, you know, you've got to think at the time, this was like end of 2011, early 2012. Yeah. This is where there's a lot of big names. There's like Yogscast. There's, you know, it's the premier gaming YouTube network, and obviously Polaris is now. But that was, and to be even considered in that, like, it's like, Christ, we're really on something good here. And I think that was probably a high point. But like Kiri said, a lot of the time, there are big high points, but it's generally like loads of little victories you get. Like, we're about to hit 25,000 subscribers. That'll be like a yes. You know, we got the subscribe button on Twitch. Yes. You know, there's all this kind of shit that goes on. You know, oh,
I have to
my
say,
line's okay, I can stream decent enough now. Yes, you know, that type of shit.
I think a personal thing for me as well was doing the Dark Souls stream with Rui. When that hit like 650 people watching and it was top of the Dark Souls directory on Twitch. That was, I didn't really show it at the time, but that was largely because I was sat there and I was thinking, Jesus Christ, loads of people are watching this.
Well,
oh
you
my
get
god.
stage fright, Mr. Kiri.
Well, I was just like, I expected it to do quite well because Rui's got his own following. You know, you guys come and watch our streams all the time, which is awesome. But I wasn't expecting it to blow up to the extent that it did. So it was like, it went from being, oh, this is going quite well, to, oh, by the way, you're top of the directory. And I was like, what? Holy shit. Don't fuck up. And of course, I was going to fuck up, obviously, because it's Dark Souls and that's all I ever do in that game. But that was quite a nice moment for me, because I was like, people are enjoying this. This is good. I mean, I know you enjoy what we do anyway, but it's nice to have that reminder every now and again that it's like, yes, this is actually really good. Nice.
So, Mr. Calinar, give us the next question. I need
91 subs more until 25,000.
No, it's pretty close. Probably happen tomorrow, maybe at some point. Actually, as well, talking about the victories, like the best parts, when you get videos that get a lot of traffic suddenly or they blow up, that's quite... because I'm like obsessed about following stats and views and all that stuff, so that's kind of good. So, the next question is... Hang on, read it, Mr. Kerf. I've lost it. I'm a witness to collapse.
My eyes went all crazy. Okay, if you had the chance to design your own pub, and money is not a big issue, what kind of pub would you design, and what kind of drinks would you serve?
Let me answer this. Well, you can answer your own.
God.
Right, so it would be like, oh my god, it would be like one of them like really nice, like stately homes, right? A massive one, you know, like with 400 rooms in it or something. It'd be massive. That'd be like like with massive grounds, designed by Capability Brown. Do you know who he is, ladies and gentlemen? You better do. Right, Google him.
Capability Brown.
Yeah, he was like the best landscaper there ever was. Amazing gardens. There'd be like lions and shit in the gardens, tigers. I think he did this step down construction with landscaping, so it makes the view appear longer. Anyway, that's just the exterior, right? When you walk in, obviously there's like a red carpet. Everybody gets chauffeured in, like in limos or something. I don't know. You get picked up at your house, right? You get picked up at your house. Now this is getting extreme now. You get picked up, a helicopter picks you up at your house, flies you to the landing pad in the grounds. You then get into a limo. No, you get into an open back Range Rover. You get given an elephant gun, right? And you get to go on safari through the grounds before you get to the pub. Right, so we're talking things like elephants. You get to shoot them and blow them away because we're importing them in like crazy. Anything crazy, massive, I don't know, silverback apes. Right? Then
Shooting silverback apes.
or you can fight them in front, whatever. Then you get to the entrance, right? You pull up, you get out. Jeeves is there, obviously, and he's like, "Hello, welcome." And he's got a silver tray, right? And on it, he's got a cup of tea and your biscuit of choice, because he knows everybody's biscuit of choice, right? Everybody's biscuit. If you ask for rich tea, you get shot with the elephant gun, but it gives you the biscuit so
in the leg.
Yeah, there's your complimentary tea after you've been on safari in your helicopter ride. And then you go in, and there is literally every possible, like, craft ale, all of that nice stuff. None of this Carling shit. None of this fucking, all that mass-produced piss swill. No. And all of it's English as well, right? We're not having no fucking piss swill Stella Artois. I've seen the adverts. Stella Artois. Fucking no. We don't want that. No. Right? And there's a law, everybody has to have 10 pints when they come in. If you can't do it, you're not allowed back. And then we're in the toilets. You go in the toilet, and there is a... What could be in the toilets? There's got to be something entertaining in the toilets. So this could be a code.
Like, can the wall just be like a bank of flat screens showing the football? Surely.
No, Unit Lost videos solidly.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Just every video is constantly playing. And
see, I would say something pretty similar to that, but there is
Instead of a male contraceptive machine, it's a biscuit machine with every possible one.
I'm just gonna say I would say something possibly not as grand. I wouldn't have gone quite as grand as 400 rooms or whatever, and shooting silverbacks with an elephant gun. But I would definitely agree. No lager, no continental beer, no European beer, no American beer, nothing but English ale. And this is important, proper ciders. Not Stylosa, not that. It might taste okay, but there's a pub near me where they do proper English ciders out of barrels. Like, it's in a barrel. You have to hammer the tap in to get the stuff out when they open it. And not only that, but at least 3 of the ciders are always scrumpies. And scrumpy is delicious. So I'd have to have an entire wall dedicated to scrumpy. Because it's like 25%. And it's delicious.
Nice.
It's... oh, God. Oh. And also, if you come in and you're wearing any sort of hat that isn't a top hat, then you kicked in the bollocks.
What about a bowler hat?
Then your hat's taken off.
Oh, come on.
Oh, you can have... I say, yeah, a bowler hat, a top hat, a flat cap. You can have a flat cap as well.
Like a farmer.
Because, you know, the working man has got to be allowed a drink at the end of a hard working day. If you're wearing a baseball cap, I'm afraid we're going to have to call security.
A baseball cap?
You see,
it's not even an English sport. In fact, baseball is rounders for men. And rounders is a female game in this country.
For teenagers as well.
Yeah,
so
it's actually
also,
not a female
all
game.
of the
men play it for whatever. When we were at school, this is where this comes from. When we were at school, the girls went off and did rounders, and the boys went off and did something like rugby. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So that's where my confusion comes from.
You know what? We once have, right? This is a slight tangent, but I'm gonna tell you anyway because it's one of my finest moments in life. We had a moment where we were playing rugby, and 2 girls didn't want to play rounders. They wanted to play rugby, and they said,
"Is this going on in the
can we play rugby?" Well, it could be some sort of woman tackling corner. I don't know. But these two girls were like, "We want to play rugby," and so the PE teacher said, "But you know, we're doing full tackles and stuff." And they said, "Well, can't you make it no contact?" And I was like, "This is bullshit. No contact rugby." So what did they do? The guy just said yes, and so these stupid bitches tried to play rugby with us. Except one of them got thrown the ball. She got ran at, and she just dropped the ball on the floor. The other one, though, she had a bit more in the way of worth. She held on to the ball, but there was no contact. So how do you know when to drop it? I was not having this, so I fucking tackled her in the spine, and I got the ball, and I ran off with it, and I got a severe bollocking from the teacher, and everyone else thought it was the best thing that has ever been done. They didn't play rugby with us anymore, and it's just as well because you do not play no contact rugby. You either play it properly or you get the fuck out. So, what, no women allowed? I don't know. Actually, I just thought, all the staff are called Jeeves as well. So Jeeves is there to give you a cup of tea, but the guy behind the bar is Jeeves.
Jeeves obviously knows
the bouncer
as well about everybody.
Is Jeeves.
Everyone
is Jeeves. So that if you go in, Huel the bouncer. If you go in and like the guy behind the bar is not there, it's a different guy. It doesn't matter. What you do is you just call him Jeeves. All of them Jeeves. So you'd be like, "Oh, where's Jeeves tonight?" And then he'd say, "Oh, I'm afraid Jeeves was ill, so I'm here." "Okay, Jeeves, thank you very much." They're all just called Jeeves. That way you don't have to remember anyone's name. Doesn't matter, they're just Jeeves. All of them are Jeeves. Just walk in, "Jeeves, pint," and Jeeves will get you a pint. Whichever Jeeves is closest.
There'd also be an array of billiard tables everywhere. I mean, in my pub, there's like 400 rooms, so there's a lot of space for this. There would be Skittles, but proper Skittles. You know, the little, where it's on the rope, you throw it.
Oh yeah, the little swingy one. Yeah.
Darts, loads of darts.
What about that but there's like a board where you shoot a marble or a ball bearing, and it can bounce. It's like there's all these different
it's like
gaps and holes.
Yeah,
and
dominoes
games,
as well.
Dominoes, yeah, definitely dominoes. You got to have dominoes. Cards, you got to have cards. Cribbage, you need cribbage in there as well. And Jenga, because Jenga is quality. Giant Jenga. If you get it wrong, it crushes you to death.
And pork scratchings as well, like the chat have just said. Well done. Like
God, yeah.
I get, when I take my bike out
But
for a
proper
ride.
pork scratchings.
Yeah, not these puff
Not like-
ones. You know, like
you
ones
get
that
these
are puffed
shitty
up,
ones.
crispy.
Yeah,
No, it
you
has
get these
to be
shitty ones
actual
that are
pig.
like, yeah. There's a pub in a little village that I've been to before. We've been there a couple of times, and we've stayed there in a hotel. And there's a pub opposite the hotel, and their pork scratchings come from the village butcher, and they're just in like clear plastic bags that have been done up with a what is it? Not a Ziploc, a twisty thing at the top. You know, the little wire twisty things.
Yeah, like on headphones.
That
and
is,
shit,
that is proper. Those are proper scratchings. They don't have a brand. They're just 50p for a bag of pork fat. That's what it is. It's absolutely amazing. The ones you get branded pork scratchings, bullshit. Not in our pub.
It's got to be in a clear plastic bag with a bit of filth on it, so you know it's real.
Yeah.
Next question, Cal. Oh yeah, and obviously GG buttons would be everywhere. In fact, the GG button is what you use to summon the the receptionist. I don't know why they'd be a receptionist in the pub, but like you walk in and you go, "Work, damn you."
I was going to say it's also what you'd say to call last orders at 7 a.m. so you can get an hour's so the staff can have an hour's break before you open again at 8.
There's never last orders. It just never ends. Jeans is simply on rotation. Oh man, that's right, Numpty. You got to have a bit of pig hair on the pork scratcher. It's just not real.
G Jeeves. I'm loving your work, chat.
Yeah, Beastly. Of course, I've built my own computer. What world do you think I hail from? Dribbler Central. No, thank you.
Okay, next question has appeared. Mintake says, if you come to power, will you nuke Sweden?
Oh, I've screwed the text up. Hang on.
This
This is hardly much of a question, is it, for the stream?
Quite aggressive.
No, I like Sweden. I would not nuke it.
They do good meatballs.
In fact, that text is not even. Length of the screen, there we go.
Hang on, would you nuke Sweden? Would you design and what kind of... Just so it
really doesn't work. Yeah, there you go.
I'm a couple of seconds behind with the...
So no, I would not nuke Sweden, but in Civilization,
No.
I will multiple times.
Yeah. The important thing to remember here, and this goes on to the whole video games cause violence, we wouldn't actually nuke anywhere, because that would be mental.
I don't know,
we're not
think of the
mental.
globe.
Well, when you put it like that. No, get back. Okay, come on, Cal. Let's have the next question. We would probably not nuke Sweden. That would be
we would not.
dodgy.
Or-
Nuke Sweden, then we can finally get rid of Cal.
Get rid of Cal. That is an option. That is an option. Tim,
Now
that
you
is
say
an
that.
option. You say that. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting ideas there. You both lack conviction.
Okay. What's he got for us, Mr. Kiri?
Rizzle. What would be your dream job besides Unit Lost? Well, actually, genuinely, and I don't care how sad this sounds, you can all fuck off. If I wasn't doing Unit Lost, my
Rent
dream.
board.
I mean, if we're talking like
Gigolo
absolute.
Kiri.
If what is going on there? If we're talking absolute dream job, as in it would just happen if you wanted it to, it would still be making videos, but it'd be making videos with the Auction Hunter crew. That would be the only difference. That would be all it is. Because it's just they are the only channel besides ours that I can sit and watch. Because I can't really watch any of the others. I don't know why. I just get bored or irritated. But it's like watching a comedy show, but with games that I'd like to play in the background. So, I think that would be it. Also, they've got like 2 million subs, so it's not like I wouldn't be earning anything.
Do you know what I would like to be? Like, I mean, I think like in the past it would have been like a professional footballer or whatever, but now I think it would be like I would like to be in charge of an inordinate amount of money, Mr. Kirill. like a massive like investment fund, right? Where I could like make investments into things, because I do stuff like I would like a bit like Bill Gates, like I would assist people, because I'll tell you what now, there comes a point where you've got enough money, yeah? You do not need hundreds of millions, you do not need tens of millions, right, to survive in this world, Mr. Kirioff.
This is true.
A philanthropist, Mr. Kirioff. I would spread money to the world.
A philanthropist?
That's what I would be. I would also be pissed 24/7 as well. Because I'd own loads of breweries or something. I don't know. Oh shit, I can't believe I forgot about this. There's a guy, and this is real, a guy in the UK with a condition, right? This is the absolute best, like, it's not terminal, although it could be. The best illness you could ever have, right? It would be...
The best illness?
Yeah. It's called, wait for this, auto brewery syndrome. It means your stomach ferments all the food you eat, so anything you eat, you become drunk, right? This guy has got it in the UK. I am not joking. He has to be fed by a pipe, right? Like into his blood or something ridiculous, right? Anything he eats, he gets pissed. So when he was a young kid at school, he's eating his sandwiches, and then he's off his trolley. They didn't know why. They thought he was some sort of crazy. But they worked out that's what he's got. So anything he eats,
that is amazing.
It ferments, and then he's
amazing.
Pissed. It's not sickness, is it, Plex? It's amazing.
I was going to say, that's not an illness. That's like...
Surely his kidneys would be like mutant kidneys. They've evolved. He's literally, through, well, hundreds of thousands of years, a bit long, thousands of years of alcohol consumption, he has mutated his own brewery in his belly.
Jesus, that's amazing. I mean, just think about it. You go out to get pissed, and all you do is go and have some fish. Everyone else goes to the pub. You say, I'll meet you there. You have some fish and chips, you're off your face.
Fancy some fine wine, drink some Ribena. Yeah. Imagine that.
I got pissed off a ham sandwich. That would be amazing. Oh my god. I've never... Yeah, it's not an illness, it's evolution, says Van Draven.
Yeah, no, my job, I don't know. I mean, it's like a beyond the I've got an infinite amount of money, or I control an infinite amount of money. I don't know, something which is like that's not really.
It's not really a job, is it? I control an infinite amount. My dream job would be bored billionaire.
It would honestly be something that isn't stressful. That is, well, I you could argue, well, it's beyond what I'm doing now, but you could argue what I'm doing now is just if there was like, loads more subscribers, loads more views, and all the rest of it, that would be my dream job. You come back to me in 2 years' time, I'll have my dream job. I guess that's the way to look at it.
Yeah. I
don't know. Miss Calamar, next question, after I've told you about the auto brewery system or whatever the hell it was called. I can't believe it, man. What the hell is that? That is amazing, that is. My God. No, I would not be
There's a
CEO
sitcom.
Bridge Tea.
There's a sitcom waiting to be made out of that, surely. The guy gets into embarrassing circumstances because he doesn't know that he's got auto brewery syndrome. Goes to a nice fancy dinner with his boss, accidentally gets smashed off his face eating a salmon. I could just see it. Eating caviar when he's off his face.
Beluga caviar, my God.
The more expensive the food, the more pissed it makes you. I had a plate of truffles and nearly died. Rizzle again.
Again? What? Okay.
Again. What would be the ultimate video that you've produced / would produce? I think surely the ultimate video that's ever been produced on Unit Lost is the premium video. I just accidentally lowered my chair slightly. Bollocks.
You better not have ruined the stream.
There we go. It's alright, I fixed it. Surely it would be the premium video. That was a masterpiece. The jets, the money, the music, the explosions.
Oh shit. See, this is the thing, right? There's a lot of videos on Unit Lost. Favourite videos? All of them my favourite, Mr. Kirioff. The cheap get out. No, you know what? I don't know. For me, there's a different aspect to look at this. There's the video when it's made, and there's also actually making the video. Like, you guys don't get to see that, but some of them are more enjoyable than others. Like the British Empire Brave New World series, the first video of that, you know, when I'm sitting in the editor and I'm looking at the intro that I've made, and I'm like, this just looks ridiculous. And then I put the Rule Britannia music over it. I'm like, and then I do the outro, and it's making me laugh as I'm making it. I know it's going to be a good video. So, you know, things like that. As for the best one we'll ever produce, I guess that's kind of what the question could mean. We could go there. Let's just go there anyway. You know, we need a channel video.
Yes.
A thingy video. Well, I forgot what it's called. It's like a channel new subscriber.
Like channel introduction.
Channel trailer. That's it.
Yeah, channel trailer.
It would be with it would be Professor Elemental with a unique Unit Lost rap dancing around with us, right, on the deck of HMS Victory, which it believes in Portsmouth, sir. And also,
that
Admiral Nelson would be back from the dead. I don't know how this would work, and he would be dancing as well with Churchill. Not the Queen, because she's German, but Churchill, he's not. And we just go from there, and it would be the best video ever.
It would. If he didn't get at least 2 billion views, I would be massively disappointed. And that's just the channel trailer.
Oh yeah,
the trailer. That's all it is. The trailer. That would be amazing.
That would be the best, Mr. Callanor.
Yeah. Next question, please. on that insane note.
Oh yes, and also Epic Source, that HMS Victory video. That was another crazy one when I'm editing that, and I'm just like, what am I doing? I'm making like a like a memorial video to an what the hell? Has Rizzle paid off Callanor? Rizzle has paid him off.
Now you see, at least Rizzle has actually formatted this in that it looks like 3 separate questions instead of whatever it was before.
Is that actually on the stream now? Tell me if that's on the stream when you see it, because I think it automatically updates if I don't press OK.
Yes. Wait, hang on. I don't know. What I've got is, how do you see Unit Lost 5 years from now?
Yeah.
What do you think will become of it?
Yeah.
Yes, it has changed on the stream, just as I finished saying that.
Well done, guys. Cheers. Okay, go on
then. You know what? I'm not... It's genuinely really difficult to say. I mean, I realise I've come across as a like Rooster Teeth fanboy here, but none of them expected it to be where it is now. And I think it's the same for any YouTube channel or anything you do, unless you've got a desk job and you know it's going to be a desk job. I mean, in 5 years from now, we could have like 5 million subs and be in an office. We could have decided to move into, you know, we could be doing more streaming. We could have people editing the videos. We could have more people making videos with us. It could just still be us doing what we're doing now. We could have decided to produce more extended series content.
There's like a danger. There's a danger with YouTube, especially when you see people who've had success, because success on YouTube, like, you know, I'm a firm believer that you make your own success. You don't, and for luck as well. You know, you make your own luck. You have to be there to be lucky, basically. You know, you can't say, oh, Star, you got lucky. You made a video, it got 10 million views. I'm the one with the YouTube channel. I'm obviously there. I've made my own luck. So when you look at other people and say, oh, they've done this and they've done that, you can sit here and fantasize like a crazy and go, oh, yes, well, in 5 years' time, we'll have this many views. We'll have this much money. We can do this, this, and this. And it's like, that might not be the case. It might be better. It might be worse. So it's hard. Yeah. But if you ask me what I honestly think, like, 5 years is a very long time. You know, I mean, how old is YouTube? Not very old, really. How old is Twitch? Not very old. You know, it's very dynamic. Things change a lot. You know, at the start of this year, I couldn't have told you that we would be doing what we're doing now on the channel. You know, I can't even tell you what we'll be doing on the channel next month. Beyond probably there'll maybe Civ. I don't know. I don't know what videos are going to go on the channel next week beyond the Civilization.
Yeah.
So
it's really... It's kind of difficult. I think it's more difficult for creative... I say jobs. You know, with creative stuff, it's a lot more difficult to say where you think you'll be, because you could be anywhere. It's wherever it takes you, really. And if you set yourself a goal, then having a goal is good. But if you make yourself too narrow and too focused on one thing, then it would be very easy to pass up opportunities that might come along because of what you've been doing. So we could say, well, in 5 years we want this many subscribers, and we want to have this many videos a day. Now that's fine, and we could chase that for all we're worth. But what if in that time we had some sort of something took off somewhere else? Like, say we got more people on Twitch than we thought we would, or say something came up where we could be in a regular show on Polaris or something. There's just too many variables. There's too much going on, and it's too much of a fluctuating thing where you can sit there and say, yes, in 5 years I'll be here. Because for all we know, in 5 years, we have no idea where we could be. It could be anywhere. I mean, as long as it's going well, I'm not really fussed, to be honest. As long as it's still fun, as long as we're still enjoying it, and as long as it's still fun for people to watch, then in 5 years, I hope we're still producing good content. That's pretty much as far as it is for me. Everything else is kind of up in the air.
Well, I'm just sending a tweet out. Hang on.
I'll very quickly slip something in. Numpty asked me earlier what kind of wine I was drinking, and I was drinking a Strawberry Hill, which is a wine from Surrey, a British wine. Not English wine. No, yeah, English wine, not British wine.
It's from England.
Was it the other way around? One of them... Sorry, British wine is terrible wine, because British wine is made of stuff that is fermented and then shipped over from Europe, so that's like gash horrible wine. It's the dregs of whatever's left. English wine is proper wine, because it comes from English vineyards. So I was drinking an English wine, not a British wine. And it was delicious.
So yes, I don't know. Like I said, it's hard to say where you're going to be in that. I mean, anything could happen. Let me just throw this one out there. About a year ago, Paradox Interactive gave me a job offer, basically an interview for a job. So I could have took that. Wouldn't even be here today. There's loads of stuff that you just really don't know. I might also win the lottery, in which case Unit Lost would still be here, because I would then be the philanthropist I always dreamed of. But only this time.
Philanthropist making YouTube videos.
But this time, instead of all this grandiose spending on people who actually need it, it would just be like an amazing... It would be the best YouTube channel you'd ever seen in your life in terms of setup. I'm not saying the content would be good, because it'd probably be dead bad, because we'd be too busy just wasting money. Like, there'd be videos.
I'd buy one of those red cameras for doing streams. Buy a slow motion camera for when something goes wrong. 10,000 frames a second rage face cam.
Here's my £100,000 webcam. What is it? It's a fucking red super HD high def super slow.
That is something that kind of again it's been done before as the thing. I say the red camera because Rooster Teeth shoots its podcast with red cameras. I mean, what? Why would you do that? The red camera is a massively expensive piece of film equipment, and they film a bloody iTunes podcast with it. What? That is an example of having enough money to do whatever the fuck you want. I'd love to have enough money to just buy random shit for no reason.
A 10,000 FPS face cam, super slow mo. Cal, give us the next question, you madman.
Absolutely crazed.
Bit of Red Alert 2 music playing at the moment. Oh no, it's Red Alert 3.
See, the soundtrack to Red Alert 3 was really good. It's a shame the game wasn't. Ooh, that's a serious one. Dear Lord. Okay.
I'm reading up through the chat. I'm dying of some disease. Go for it.
Bug out. How do you pronounce your name? Bugeaud.
Borgide or something?
Bug-eyed? I don't know. Have either of you ever dealt with depression or anxiety? You guys seem super positive, so it's hard to imagine. I could probably answer that for both of us, can't I?
Oh, you go ahead first.
I'm pretty sure you haven't, have you?
I think it's possible. No,
I think you've got you're the opposite. I think you've got like mental syndrome or something. Permanently happy disease. Yeah, actually, Bug. Out of the two of us, Sty is permanently mental, and I have depression, which I've had for about 10 years or so. It doesn't really come across in videos and stuff, largely because I've been taking medication for it for the last couple of years, and I tend to expend all of my energy in... I've only just seen what Sty's done on the stream, what the fuck? And I tend to expend pretty much all of my daily energy in recording the videos and editing the videos. So I might be sort of not quite with it in the evenings and the mornings, but I use all of my available energy whilst we're doing stuff for the channel. So it's not all that obvious a lot of the time. So, yeah, it's not too much of a problem. As long as I keep it with the medication, not an issue. If I do lose it and I find a bit of a struggle, then it can be a bit of a pain, but you get used to it after a while. And as long as you keep it with the medication like I do, it's generally not a problem. So yeah, I am a lot more cheerful than probably I should be, but that's thanks to medical science.
But yeah, no, I don't. I mean, really, when you think about it, I've actually got quite a lot I could be.
Well, yeah, that's the stupid thing. I don't really have a lot to be miserable about, but I do have depression, and so quite often I'm a sulky little bastard for no reason. Whereas Sty has got a catalogue of medical issues, and he's absolutely fine.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, really, I should be, shouldn't I? Maybe I am, and I just don't know, although I don't think I am.
I was going to say, don't think about it too much, so tip yourself over the edge live.
No, I'm okay. But yeah. No, but I mean, what? Chronic medical condition. Smashed spine that had to be sorted. They're basically the worst. No? Oh no, I'm okay. So that was the most serious question we've had, ladies and gentlemen.
It really
but as
was.
we said, we'll answer anything. So Calamar, what have we got next? Also, that waving of the green screen, which is in this crazy. Like, I've basically built an awesome green screen of magnificence now. It should never fail on the stream again, guys. It's because I noticed that the chroma key's still on, but it's not working because there's no green.
Oh.
But it is kind of working. But the lights, I've only got one light on, so you may notice I actually look a normal colour today, ladies and gentlemen. Not like I have a really bad condition and I am massively anemic.
Pale as anything. He's so fit, he's almost anemic. Sorry,
I was anemic once when they didn't diagnose me with Crohn's properly, and they were like, "We don't know what's going on with you, boy." I'm like, "You wankers." I diagnosed myself on Wikipedia, and that is a true story. I sat there, and the doctor comes in, and after they'd done like a test on me, and I said, I think I've got this condition, and I'm wrecked on the bed. You know, I'm about, like, I don't know, 14 and a half, 15 stone or something. I was like 7.5 stone, and I'm mullered on a bed like that. I'm like, "Doc, I think I've got this." And he's like, "Yeah, that's what we think you've got." I thought, well, I could have told you that. I'm a doctor on Wikipedia. I look really tired. I'm not. Although tiredness is a massive side effect of Crohn's.
Symptom.
Yeah. But I'm not tired. So there you go.
Come on then, Cal.
Calamar,
let's have the next
what
one.
are you doing? Don't make me fire you, Cal. Live on air.
Harsh. Like The Apprentice live.
That's right, Numpty. The WebMD. That's how it goes down. I really like I like digging into health conditions though.
Corpses.
Corpses? Don't get us talking about all our crazy stories, because
Oh god.
we got crazy stories.
We've seen shit.
Oh,
now, Matt1016.
Hello,
What are
Matt.
your initial thoughts on the Steam controller?
It looks like a depressed Darth Vader, don't it? Is that what everybody says?
It looks very much like someone has tried to find a solution to a problem that didn't exist in the first place, but I'm not going to judge it until I've actually used it.
So this is.
I realised that it's not. I don't know.
It's got the haptic feedback crap in it on the buttons, and it's got like super like high resolution, high sensor touch things on it like this. I don't know. What Kiri said's kind of okay, but I think what they're trying to do is obviously transfer the mouse and keyboard to your hand, so you can play it on your couch, your settee, or whatever, in that kind of thing. But I don't know. I I expected something a bit different. I really was expecting some sort of virtual reality thing. That's what I was expecting. Something like Oculus Rift. But if you think about it, why would they do that? They could just use Oculus Rift. So as far as the controller goes, I don't know. I mean, how the hell? How would it work? Like, I'm seeing a comment in the chat. Devs that tested it said it worked good. But what game are these devs associated with? It would work okay for Dark Souls. It would probably work okay for some... Like, try and play StarCraft 2 with it. You'd be completely fucked. You would absolutely be fucked. I don't think there would be any way of doing that. Any kind of RTS game, you'd probably be destroyed. Fast mouse movements, that's going to be hard to do with it. But even though it's got the fancy touch thing, I mean, you've got to ask yourself, how different is it actually going to be than this?
Yeah, people play.
Okay, it's more sensitive, it's more accurate, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm a bit like whatever. Valve have got a lot of money. Do what you like.
I don't think it's gonna really. I think people will use it if it comes with the Steam box, whatever they've called it. Then yeah, they'll probably use it. Or the
Callum did say put the questions into the stream chat. I can't see the Skype because of the way it's working. If I switch to it, the Skype chat will be broadcast across the internet.
Or your filthy lies will be exposed. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not massively fussed about it. I think it will probably work for what it's for, but I don't think it'll ever be as good as a keyboard and mouse. I don't think it'll replace it. And I think it will just end up being a matter of preference. I think some people will, despite the fact that it's supposed to replace the keyboard and mouse, I think people will still probably want to use a keyboard and mouse for some games, and some people will stick with an Xbox controller for others. I don't think it's going to be like a massive game changer. So, I don't know. It's another option.
It will be no good for FPS games. Do you want me to tell you what? It'll be no good for FPS games. Controllers of any description are no good because you're holding it in your hand like this. You hold a mouse on a table like this. I'm not going to change your webcam because it'll screw it up. But you're actually moving in the direction of where you want to go. You're actively moving. You can judge the distances. It would never, like, literally a mouse and a keyboard are like the optimal input for an FPS game. You see this fancy thing with Oculus Rift, controllers and shit like that. Imagine how strange Oculus Rift would feel using a keyboard and mouse in an FPS game. That's a fast-paced FPS game. You know, we're talking Counter-Strike or something, or Quake. Can you imagine that? You're having to look and move. It would be really weird. So I don't know. I really don't know. But a controller is literally the worst of any description. Is the worst thing for FPS games the world over. Kalinar. Next question, soldier.
Oh my god.
Rizzle, the world is not ready for the Skype chat.
It really isn't. It is not prepared. Ballistes. I was wondering what type of pets do you two have, if any, and do you two like to garden? That's kind of random, that last bit, but okay.
I have done a lot of that in the past, but we'll get on to
that.
Yeah.
I have a cat, and shortly after Christmas I shall have a dog. So I do like animals, and I will have one of both, probably.
Well, I had a dog.
Dog kills the cat.
And I also look after a dog at the moment, every now and again. The dog I had was a Black Labrador. There's actually a video on the channel. So, I suppose I can't be bothered to load a picture. I'll load a picture just for people who haven't seen. Hang on. Let me find it.
The dog was awesome, by the way. The first time I met the dog, she walked into my legs. But that was largely because she was blind.
Yeah, she was blind. So, she was 14 and a half when she died, and she was blind since she was about 5? No, about 4. So quite a long time. And it didn't affect her at all, which was quite interesting.
She was a nice dog.
Well, usually dogs get depressed, or so we were told. Where have my pictures gone?
Don't tell me you've...
No, I've got them. Deleted them all. It's just sort of rage. You must have had pets when you was a kid anyway. Mr. Kirioff, you could talk about the...
Oh, I had a couple of... I was just trying to remember how many... I had 2 rabbits. No, 3 rabbits. I had a black rabbit, that was nice. Although he had a habit of humping my football, which was a bit off. Although I was like 6 or 7 at the time. I had a grey rabbit that went mental and bit my mum repeatedly on the arm and the hand when she tried to feed it, so we had to give that away. And I had a white rabbit that once raped a kitten. Which is exactly what it sounds like.
What the hell?
It got excited. There was a kitten in the corner, and it had its way with the kitten. The kitten had no chance. The rabbit was like, "Come here, look, I'm going to have you." And he did.
Did it have kitten rabbit babies?
It did not, because it raped its face, not the other end. So, but he did
People
that same.
pure in the chat.
It did that same day. Do 3 female rabbits, and all of them got pregnant.
Is that not what rabbits do, though? That is
Pretty
some
much.
stamina there, Mr. Kirioff. My God.
And I also had a hamster, but the hamster was retarded. It just like spacked out all the time. I don't know why. It was not very clever. And also hamsters are kind of shitty because they only last like a year and they die. So
this was the dog. That was the dog. That was Penny. She was quite a big dog as well. I mean, she was obviously like the family pet, you know, growing up and whatnot. But yeah, she was massive. Like, I tell you what, people used to mistake her for a male dog, but she was massive. She was like really big. She wasn't overweight either. Like, some people would go, "Oh, that's a big dog," like thinking it's overweight, but she wasn't. I mean, you know, that was clarified by a vet as well. She says, "No, this dog is just it's got a good bone structure." Yeah, but now one of my sisters has got a cock spaniel, and that thing is, I think it's 4.5 months old. I took it a walk yesterday morning because we live like quite close to the woods area. Like, there's a lot of like woodland around us. It absolutely ran me ragged, and when I got it back, it wanted to go again, and I'm like, Christ, what the hell? When they say it's a sporting dog, they mean that.
Yep.
If this thing can just keep going, like I've never seen this before. It just keeps going and going, and you know what? It's actually quite good off the lead as well. Like, it will follow you, but you can play mind games with it because it's a bit unaware or unsure of what's going on. If you hide, like in the ferns, like get out of sight, hide. It gets a bit like, oh no, and it comes running up to you. It's like, and it jumps all over. Yeah, but it's a nice dog. If it's a dog I would have picked myself, no, I probably would have just had another Labrador because of Penny. But I think like the demeanour of the animal is quite nice, but the way it looks, I don't know. I don't like all this long hair crap going on. Although I do like Irish Wolfhounds, and they have got long hair, but that's a massive dog.
Yeah, but they're also massive.
It's massive, yeah. But again, this is something that would stop me having a large breed of dog, like a Newfoundland or, you know, whatever. They don't live very long, and they have they have a lot of pelvis problems, don't they? Joint problems, and
yeah.
I couldn't like the thing with Penny. She was never kippered. Like, when she died, they don't know what she actually had. She basically had a mass on her liver that ruptured, and it ruptured her liver, so she was internally bleeding. But it just came out of nowhere. Like, she wasn't ill. Obviously, it never came out of nowhere. She clearly had like cancer or something, but she was totally fine. Like, she didn't display any strangeness or anything like that. But obviously, when she was bad and we took her to the vets, everybody went over to the vets. They said, we've scanned her. What's actually happening is, because she was like, you know, like, she was very quiet and wasn't moving. And that's not how the dog is. You know, she's not like that. So we took her to vets, and they said she is got a large mass on her liver, and it looks like it's ruptured. But we'll find out later if it has. Well, they'll do a biopsy on it and see if it's cancerous or something. But then we went home, and they rang us up a couple of hours later and said, what's actually happened is now it's like massively ruptured, and she was bleeding into like the cavity under the diaphragm, so it's hard to breathe. So what they were doing was they had a syringe in her chest, and they were pulling the blood out so she could keep breathing, like, you know, till we got there, and they put her down, like. But it's obviously sad, but I was happy that she went like that, because it was just like one day dead. It wasn't like my back legs are destroyed, I'm a fucking wreck of a dog and all this crap. It was just like, you know, and 14 and a half for the size of dog she was, that's fucking good as well. You know, that's really good.
that's become like a kind of a bit of a sore point with me because my wife's a vet nurse and she works with animals all the time. The number of people who have got dogs that by all rights should be put down because they can't move, they can't do anything, they can't go for walks, they just lie there and they're like massively ill, but they're just too old. You know, they've just got no quality of life, and the people refuse to let them go and just let them suffer on. It's like, that's bullshit. Don't do that.
No.
Let your dog go out on a high note. Don't just leave it there. It's terrible.
The only thing, like, you know, like, when I think of Penny, yeah, Penny could have been saved if we randomly took her in for a scan when she displayed no symptoms at all. Who would do that? The thing with animals is they can't tell you that they're ill. Even if she wasn't, she never showed it. You have to look for signs, you know, think, oh, is the dog, does she look depressed? Does she look like... I mean, when she went blind, there was no depression. It was just like, oh, I'm fucking blind now, I just walk into everything. You know, that she used to... This is how good she was when she was blind. She understood reverse as a command, so you could... And stop. And listen to them all the time. Because it's like... Labradors make good guide dogs, but we were her guide sort of thing, so it was like... She would walk off the lead as well, very rarely on the lead. She would follow you, obviously, she can smell you and hear you. On the path, you've got the curbstone, haven't you, down the path? She could tell the difference in texture from the tarmac to the curbstone, so she would never go into the road. So she'd walk down the path, and then when she hit the curbstone, she could feel it, and would, like, come off it, and keep walking again. Like, so there's loads of things like that. You'd have to tell her to step, obviously, to go up steps, if she wasn't aware. But, I mean, you know... It was quite interesting seeing how she just adapted as if it was like, whatever, I'm blind. And the reason why she was blind is because we thought she could have had cataracts at the time, but it was cellular degeneration at the back of the eye, the optic nerve. It was some sort of thing Labradors can have. Because she was like a pedigree. Her name was Penelope Gypsy Glow. What a lovely name. So, Mr. Calidar. Next question, sir. Next question. Yeah, we should do a talk show. You know what? I'm actually, right, talking of the stream, I'm actually looking at things to do. I think doing a Dark Souls day every week is a good idea. I also think like a little talk show is a good idea. So we'll find out. Oh, Cal, Moobot's intercepted the thing. Oh no, hang on. My real name's King and this is Pleb. There you go. Next question. That's not even a question worth answering.
That's not a question. Go away. Come on, Cal. Next one. It's not even that much of a secret. It's just such a terrible question.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Ash, that's the thing. Even though they are blind, they do have good, you know, hearing and smell. And like with her, it was only blindness. Like if they lose their other senses, that's bad. Yeah, Numpty, shut your fucking mouth about that, as you'll die.
Right, what's this about? Starting to play WoW again?
No, this was like bad things were happening in that chat. Okay, next question.
To flip Mo, what made you both start doing YouTube?
Well, we answered that, I guess.
Well, yeah, we did actually.
Well, no, actually, no, we didn't. We just said that we decided. So, okay, we had a website called unitlost.com, which we obviously have now. Yeah, I came up with the name. I should take all the rewards for the name because I think it's quite clever. And we were going to essentially try and take on someone like Rock Paper Shotgun and provide gaming news, but we're going to do it a little bit different and not just have like, you know, writers and, you know, like 5 paid writers or whatnot, but have like community writers, you know, like a lot of people coming in, chipping in, the, you know, their points and stuff. And that's where Unit Lost came from. That's what it was. It was like a WordPress blog. 2010-ish it was probably set up. Because we were into like a bit of web design at the time, so it's like, oh, that'd be a nice thing to do on the side. But it became apparent that if you want to do something with games, websites, you know, gaming news sites and all that stuff, they are not old hat, but very established, and it's hard to take on people who are established. So really, we wouldn't have got anywhere. So I started looking around thinking, well, what can we do? And I came across YouTube, yeah? So this is around about the start of, I think it was like WoW Cataclysm. And also, well, actually, the first channel, it was StarCraft 2 had just come out, I think, and WoW Cataclysm beta was running. I was playing StarCraft 2. I wanted to get better at the game, so I started searching for build orders and stuff like that. Came across a guy called Crota, who he still does it to this day. Does commentaries on StarCraft 2, Warcraft 3. I started watching him, and I couldn't believe this was a thing. Then I started to find other people, you know, like Husky and whatever. So that was like my first introduction to YouTube. And because me and Kiri were playing World of Warcraft at the time, fair amount, you know. Well, we did play it a lot, but we never played it like in a raid or anything like that. We just used to play it a couple of hours, you know, with each other. It was never like a fucking big thing. Because I mean, I was like burnt out from previous MMOs and all kinds of shit. Mr. Kirioff was delusional. So, well, he was just. He wasn't delusional, but he'd never been exposed to what I'd been exposed to. So he was just, you know, like you know that feeling you get when you experience a game for the first time. He was having that, so he was happy anyway. How the hell? I actually got to Jesse Cox's channel. It was Rift videos. It was. That was it, because Rift was coming out as well. Because he had Cataclysm and Rift videos, and I may have seen some of the Total Biscuit videos as well. But from that, I was like, okay, this looks like something that's new. Maybe we could do YouTube. And then I guess that's where the idea of, okay, let's turn Unit Lost into a YouTube channel came from. So there you go.
And you can... I think... When's the first video on the channel?
So, it's a Rift video, because it was a test video.
It was. Rift character creation video quality test.
Yeah, and I left it there for old time's sake. What's the date on it?
It just says 2 years ago, and I'm just going to click it, and hang on. January 26th, 2011. God, that was a long time ago.
It was, and like with Unit Lost, we made a few videos to begin with, and then we sort of didn't do a lot, and then we sort of came back to it, and then we got the machinima, and then that was another 2 months gone. So when people say, oh yeah, you know, Unit Lost like 2 years old, it's not. Unit Lost was registered on YouTube in February 2011, I think, but...
It was January 2011, I think.
Was it January 2011?
Yeah, because the first video was 26th of January,
but,
so...
Yeah, but really, content only started hitting it towards the end of the year, really. So it's only really a year and a half old. Like, a lot of people think it's older than it is. Especially me, it can feel like it's really old because, you know, I'm like 12 hours a day on this thing every day. I mean, I thought to myself the other day, I was actually I was on a phone call with my mum, and I said to her, like, she said, when's the last time you had any time off? And I'm like, what do you mean? She says, like, when you didn't, you know, work on Unit Lost. I says, well, I think it was when we went on holiday to Crete. That was the last family holiday I went on, and that was like some time ago. It's like over. That's about a year ago, more than a year. So that was then. So maybe I should be overworked. Sometimes I do get overworked, but I guess it's just about managing it. I don't know. Next question, Cal. Oh, have you pasted one in? Hang on, I think he's pasted one in.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think he has. There you go. When you see it, Mr. Kirioff on the stream.
Death Angle 4. I'm assuming you meant to call yourself Death Angel, but that's not how you spell Angel. Death Angle 4. Shouldn't laugh, but I can't help it. No. Death Angle 4. What game would you be in if Gander used his pixie magic and trapped you inside a game? What?
So this would be the worst game. I would be in Call of Duty, and I would be, like, the most used weapon in Call of Duty. So I would have to, you know, I'd have the most playtime. I would be constantly looking at Drivel all my life. But at least I get to kill the Drivel, so maybe it's not all bad. Maybe that isn't the worst place you could put me.
Possibly. Oh god. Goddess. Nothing would ever happen. I would die of boredom. Except I wouldn't die because nothing ever happens. I'd just be alive permanently. Watching nothing happen forever. Clicking. Forever and a day.
Or you're in Farmville. What about that? Or you're in Happy Wheels. Or you're in Minecraft.
You know what? At least in Minecraft you'd be able to fuck around.
Minecraft wouldn't be bad. Who's the worst character who just dies at the start of a game?
You know what, it'd be bad to be stuck in the Deadpool game, because Deadpool's fucking irritating. I know that's the point, but it would get on your nerves after a while.
You'd be stuck in a game where Gandhi has all the uranium in Civ, wouldn't you? You'd be there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The game would go
over and over.
for 1,000 turns, and then suddenly
he'd never
everyone gets
capture your
uranium.
cities.
Yeah, but Gandhi's got 80 tiles of uranium all around his cities, and you've got none. Every turn,
That would be bad.
40 ICBMs are fired at you, nuclear missiles.
That would be
You have to
real
somehow try and win.
Okay, yeah, that would be rancid.
Oh,
That'd be absolutely rancid.
see a Rizzle. Oh, that would be so bad. Next question then, Cal.
Cheers, Death Angle 4.
No, hang on. A Sean Bean character? No, because he plays quality characters. They just die. I've been Ned Stark all day with that massive bastard sword.
Chopping people's heads off.
Yeah, like stuck in a Peter Molyneux game where with the endless promises of worth and nothing.
It's never going to happen. Ever. Baron TV, what games have you played in the past 1 to 2 years that have disappointed you, and the reason why?
Rome 2 straight away.
Well,
For me, that was a disappointment.
yeah, I'd say Rome 2 was.
No, you
a
never
bit
really
of a
played
failure.
it, but it was a failure. Like, because I was looking forward to that. You know what? We were going to turn that into a series as well, like Civ.
We were, and
But
it was just so
capitulation.
terrible. You know what? I honestly wasn't expecting much of Goddess in the first place, so that didn't disappoint me. Dragon Age.
2.
Dragon Age 2. Because that was just such a poor game compared to the first one. The first one was amazing. I love the first one. I mean, I bought it 3 bloody times. Dragon
Gully,
Age
we
2
will not be
was
answering
just-
questions out of the chat. You have to post them in the forums, and Kalinar will then paste them back into the chat. Sorry, Mr. Kirill.
That's right. Keeps us more organised. I'd say Dragon Age 2 is the most disappointing game. I'd say Dragon Age 2 is possibly the most disappointing game I've ever played, just because I wanted it so badly to be like the first one, and it just wasn't.
At least
I mean, you
Inquisition
could say
looks
things-
fairly promising, though. That looks okay.
It does. Hopefully that'll be... It won't take much to be better than Dragon Age 2, but if they could be closer to Dragon Age 1, I'll be happy. You could also say Duke Nukem, but honestly, I was so expecting Duke Nukem to be terrible that it wasn't even surprising when it was. Like, it had been going for so long, and this whole thing of, well, they had to, like, break it and make it again, and then change the engine, and then the studio changed it, and then it was farmed out to someone else. I was like, this is going to be shit.
Well, Ash, we knew Colonial Marines would be shit. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
Um,
Aliens vs Predator, that was quite bad as well.
oh, that was a real letdown, but I think that's more than 2
That
years
was.
ago.
I think that was...
Maybe not. I don't know.
Ooh.
I mean, let's just extend this to all time, because then it's easier to answer. Red Alert 3 was a fucking bag of shit. I really waited for that.
Oh, that was terrible.
I'm a massive Command & Conquer addict. I played Red Alert 2, you know, Command & Conquer 4, or, well, no, sorry. That is the worst game ever made, Command & Conquer 4. I just mean Command & Conquer 3, I'm very sorry. That was great. Red Alert 3 comes out. I didn't like that at all. I thought that was shit. I just didn't like that.
Yeah. It was just not...
It's like...
Nah, War's End was like, we knew that was going to be terrible.
Yeah, we knew War's
Everyone
End
knew
would
that
be
was going to be
terrible.
terrible. That's
Diablo
so
3.
obviously gonna
Now,
be
hang
terrible.
on. Diablo 3 was disappointing endgame wise, and obviously with the auction house. But to play through it, it was actually okay. You know, the combat system's great.
Yeah.
But the story was shit. So I think it was like, it's a Blizzard game. It's hyped to shit. It's Diablo 3. You know, everyone knows what Diablo 2 did. Everyone played Diablo 2 for fucking God knows how many hours. And then you get Diablo 3, and it's sort of meh. It was okay in parts. Story was shit. Combat was great.
Yeah.
The best you've ever seen, like an action RPG, clicky. Auction house
For me,
was
the
terrible.
combat,
But at least
yeah,
that's
for me,
going
the
to the
combat
expansion.
made up for how bad the rest of, for how bad the story was. I wasn't too fussed about the fact the story was terrible because the combat was like funny enough and ridiculous enough that I could just look at it and go.
And if you want to talk about games that are general failures
map.
that are just totally shit, let's talk about Medal of Honor Warfighter. That was horrendous. That was actually an absolutely dog shit game. Now, let's talk about Medal of Honor Airborne Assault. and all the other Medal of Honor games. I think it was Allied Airborne. I can't even remember what it was called. I was too young. But basically, well, I wasn't. I've just got a shit memory. They were great games. That was terrible. So there's a lot you could really go on about, I guess. But actually going out and buying a game and then being massively disappointed about it, beyond what I've said, it's kind of difficult for me to say. I mean,
Half-Life 3.
I thought this it was shit.
I tell you what, I'm just a slight tangent here, but I'm going to be disappointed with Half-Life 3 if it ever comes out, which is why I'm probably not going to bother, purely because it's been hyped for so long over the cause of absolutely nothing that it's just not. It's so not worth it anymore. It really isn't. Let's be honest here. I mean, what did Valve promise? Shorter, episodic gaming, and they did a couple of episodes, and then there was silence for years, and then everyone is still going Half-Life 3. No,
loot box. I liked Crisis 2. It's nothing like Crisis 1, but as a brain dead on rails shooter,
you know what?
It was okay.
Crisis 2 was all right. I thought Crisis 2 was all right.
It's the same.
To be honest, I thought Crisis 1 was kind of. I mean, it was a glorified tech demo with the most hilariously awful story I've ever come across in my life. I mean, Jesus Christ.
And it
who
goes
was writing
to shit
that?
when the aliens turn up as well.
I mean, what was that? At the start of the game, I was like, fucking hell, this is quality. This is quality. And then, suddenly, aliens. I mean, what? Whose idea was that? Terrible. Terrible idea. Yeah, you're right, Second Sin, Half-Life 3 probably will never come out.
Cal,
and I won't
give us
care
the
if it
question.
does.
The next question. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I just don't see why anyone cares anymore. It's like massive nostalgia attack
yeah,
on a ridiculous scale.
It's going to be the biggest show thing ever. Like, it'll be like a Grand Theft Auto launch.
But for no reason. Because it's like...
No reason. Half-Life 1 and 2 are like the fucking amazing games. That's why it'll get it. It's
Yeah, but Episode 1, Episode 2, they're alright. But it's not like they were groundbreaking. They were just...
No. The Half-Life 2 was. See, if you think this is the
Half-Life
thing,
2 was, yeah,
think
but
about,
it's just been so long.
Half-Life 2 was 2004, I think. But basically, when those games come out, you see a vast graphical improvement to games that have come out the year before or even a few months before. It's like, whoa, and storytelling and the way the game works, it's just vastly superior. But you can say there are negative impacts with games like that, which is sort of seen with Call of Duty at the moment. I'm not saying Call of Duty is a good game, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare was a decent game. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. We played that quite a lot, didn't we, really?
Yeah. They kept using the same formula over and over again and made it more, accessible, cheesy, shitty, and whatever. Got more popular. Other developers look at that and think, you know what, we'll copy that. And Half-Life 2 kind of had that impact for a while on some games.
Yeah.
So you get that, but you get that in all walks of life. Like, you could say, I might start making Happy Wheels videos because I see Joe Blogs has got 1 billion views. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting the next question, Mr. Kirioff.
Happy Wheels. Druid of Necromancy. Does Unit Lost fanfiction exist? If so, what is the worst piece of fanfiction you have ever seen? No and no. Thankfully.
What would it even involve? What the hell?
I don't want to know what it involve.
If you want to make something
horrendous,
be my guest. But
for God's sake.
I don't mind fan art. I like that, but yeah.
Yeah, next question, Cal. Let's move on from that as quickly as humanly possible. For God's sake.
Yeah, that Styroblast card was awesome. In fact, I think you still got it in the stream. No, I can't
No,
find it.
Emoki-chan, go away.
An erotic fan fiction.
Just no.
With Gandhi.
Don't ever send us that. Just don't. I won't read it. Okay. Plex asks, what's your favourite British beer type? Bitter, lager, mild, brown ale, porter. Yeah, I like a nice IPA personally.
Pale ale, Mr. Kirioff.
Yes.
I don't know, I'm quite fond of that. But I tell you what, I've got a bit of a taste for things like honey beers, things like that. I really enjoy that. Like
What's it, Queen Bee? Slater's Queen
Staffordshire.
Bee. That's nice.
Honey beer, I like things like that. I don't know. I quite like lager though. If you just wanted to generalise it. guess. I don't know. Bitter's okay. I just drink it all. Is that an answer?
Drink anything. As long as it's beer. Next question, Cal.
Whatever. Next question. I've actually...
Ash is
you
off.
know what? I've
See you
got a few
later, Ash.
bottles downstairs. See you, Ash. I'm tempted. What have I got, though? I think I've got Old Speckled Hen. That's not too bad.
That's nice. I like that.
He's on special
Yeah,
offer.
Plex, of course. As long as it's British. I'm going to drink any other kind of beer. Baron TV1 asks, how did you two meet? I found Sty sleeping under a bridge. He was a tramp, so I took him in.
I've had to edit
That
the
might be a
text.
lie.
It looks retarded. College, that was it. Just went to college. Like, I believe in the US, you have things called community colleges, which are looked down upon. Well, in the UK, that's the only type of college.
That text looks terrible.
Right? After school, what did I do? No, I did A-levels in science, biology, chemistry, physics, and what else did I do it in? Maths as well. Although the maths one, I didn't exactly finish. No, I think I did actually. I think I got an E. I got like the worst result for that one.
Lord.
But the sciences were quite good. Then I went to college because I was like, basically, this was a problem with the UK education system, right? My school was a Catholic school, and it was very strict, right? I'm not a Catholic. The only reason I went there is because it was the best school in the area. So my parents were like, you go to that school. I'm like, whatever. They taught me well. I can't knock them for that. But they were like, you have to go to university, and you have to learn something like science, English, or maths, right? Weirdly, you think they'd be telling you to go and learn some sort of philosophy crap, but they didn't care about that. It was like maths, English, and science. It was a science academy, the school was. You learn science. So, for a long time, it was like, you know, ignoring all my football stuff, because I was quite good at football, and that could have possibly been a career if I didn't get ill, but I did, so whatever. But the science thing, I was going to go for like probably more biology orientated it would have been, but I never looked at any kind of job that would give me. Yeah, the careers advisor was just like, oh yeah, you go to university, that's great. You know, they didn't really tell you what it was for.
Yeah.
So a year and a half went by, and then I started to think, you know what the hell am I actually doing? You know, it was great and it was fun. You know, we were at sixth form college, we were, you know, this was actually at the school, a lot of freedom and all this stuff. I could have become a CSI. So yeah, actually, forensics was one of the I actually went to we used to go to Birmingham University quite a lot and go to the what is it? Is it the auditorium? Is that what they call it? Where it's got the seats and the professor with the big, you know, the big bloody chalkboard. I can't remember what they call it, but it was in there, and there was a lot of you know, things like there was one on like the forensic sciences. There was one on all this kind of stuff we went to. But when I started looking at job opportunities, I realised that it wasn't really that good. You know, that you could be things like, well, I always remember that the one was cancer research, somebody or other, and it was like, I think it was something stupid, like £16,000 a year. This was after like 5 years of a biology degree, and
Jesus.
about 40 grand of debt or something. I'm like, so I decided, right, fuck this. What I'm going to do is do something. And to be fair to my parents, they were like, whatever, do what you love, you know, do what you want. I started looking into computers because I really enjoyed my PC. Went to college for AVCE, Advanced ICT or some shit, and that's where Kirioth was there. And that's literally the tale. It's a bit long-winded, but that's how I got there. I walked in one day and there's this fucking cabbage standing in the corner. I'm like, who's this dickhead?
And we spent 2 years playing pool, effectively.
Bowling. So, I mean, how old would we have been? About 17, coming 18, probably.
Yeah, something
And
like that.
we're 26 now, so ever since then.
Feel old.
Yeah, I would Dr. Sty. Well, an interesting thing about me, Ardwell, I am actually
Dr.
licensed.
Sty says we're going to have to take your leg off.
I'm licensed to buy chemicals.
Yeah, but to
subs.
kill weeds and stuff, ain't they?
No.
What,
That's
just
the
any
thing.
chemical?
Yeah. You can. It's like a tier of chemicals. You can buy like you get tracked by the NSA. No, well, you would in America by GCHQ.
The NSA.
You have to like solely.
Get a cancer HQ.
Yeah. Mr. Stylosa, why are you buying all this? I don't know. What would you buy? Chlorine. Do you intend to make chlorine gas with that, sir? Well, you buy chloride, wouldn't you, and then do something to it. See, like, you can tell if I was learning biology, it's gone out of my head. Just do anything, but drink it.
What do you plan to do on that? Make a delicious cocktail?
Think about it. I could have been Heisenberg.
You could have been the
Heisenstein.
meth king of the Midlands.
It would be
Got
crystal.
your own limited company, Midland Meth.
It would be crystal red, blue, white.
Oh God.
So there you go. Kiri can answer it, but I've answered it for him. How did you get to that point?
Oh, I went to sixth form for a year, and it was boring and I hated it, so I went to college. I messed up. That was it. I did 2 IT courses and a philosophy and ethics course in sixth form, but the 2 IT courses covered exactly the same thing.
Was your school a religious nut job
both.
place?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. At least they forced it.
But they were obsessed with going to uni as well. So
yeah, like, honestly,
that seems to be a thing that's
in the
common.
dinner hall. Right, they used to have on the wall pictures of people who'd actually gone to like Oxford and whatever, and it was like, these were the amazing students. You know, this cabbage went to wherever and learnt this. Bit weird.
Just weird, ain't it? It's not the be all and end all. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I was going to say something and I forgot. Whatever. Yeah, Cal, give us the next question.
Or Numpty, whoever's giving us the questions now. Apparently Cal's having technical difficulties. Someone give us a question.
Well, I can't see the chat, Mr. Kira. I've seen my eyes and ears. Dull, you put him in the right place. If you do it again, I'll ban you out of the channel, because that's how I roll. No.
There we go. Cal and I's come through with the goods. Mr. Plopples, if you could... What is that name? If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? That's... I don't know,
So
actually.
where have you been? Answer this. Where have you been?
Oh my god. I've been to France, I've been to Belgium, I've been to Austria, Canada, USA, Spain, and Italy, and Malta. Have I said France? I think I have said France.
Yeah.
That's it, really. I'm not really. That's that's it, really. Yeah, okay, those are the places I've been. Which is actually quite a few places, really.
Well, hang on. Let me say where I've been. I've been to France, obviously. I've been to Germany. I've been to Greece. I've been to Crete. I've been to the Caribbean, Dominican Republic. I've been to Egypt. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Because you can't obviously class Wales as a place.
Oh yeah, I've been to Wales, but it doesn't count, does it?
And they're like around England, obviously, but like whatever.
Across a bridge, it's nothing.
And when I went to Egypt, that was a couple of months before the riots broke out. So I was lucky. And it was actually...
Didn't you also get stuck in Egypt because of the volcano going off?
Yeah,
as well?
the volcano that went off in Iceland or Greenland or something. I think it was Iceland, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When that went off, I was in Egypt, so I got a week extension on my holiday, all paid for by the Thomas Cook. Which is quite good. I'm like, yeah. It pissed me off because what it was, my sister was 21 at the time, so I took her to Egypt because she always wanted to see the pyramids and shit. So we had like Valley of the Kings. We were in Luxor. We were going to go and see the pyramids. We were going to go, to every attraction we could go to. Apart from we couldn't go to the Aswan Dam, right? Because we didn't have enough time for that. But if I'd known that this volcano was going to explode, we could have actually gone to the Aswan Dam. So I've seen everything apart from that dam. Which is annoying. Because when they told me, I'm like, what? And actually, the week extension I had there, I think it's anaphylactic shock or something. Well, it actually wasn't that, but I think it turned into that, but it didn't start off as that.
Yeah.
Where I used waterproof sun cream. But I didn't actually... Apparently, when you use it, you're supposed to sweat. Like, you put it on and do stuff and sweat. But I didn't. So I plastered it all over me. And I was just sitting under, like, on a deck chair or whatever, having drinks. And it just blocked all my pores. So when I started to sweat, the sweat wasn't leaving my skin. So, when you go, like... I went like that. And I had to have an injection from Doc Sphinx. This crazy Egyptian doctor turned up, right?
Drags your vein out of your arm.
Honestly, with a steroid injection. In a briefcase. Throws it down on the bed. Opens it up. Sticks a syringe in my arm. Right? Pulled the vein out of my arm. This is fucking vulgar, ladies and gentlemen. Injected it and pushed it back in. Why he did that, I don't know. And then demanded I pay him like 1,200 Egyptian pounds, which was about 160 quid or something. I was like... But where would I like to go?
Go on, you sent me a picture of your face as well when you were when you had that, when all the like sweat was caught under your skin. Your face was like massive and swollen. You look like Mr. Blobby. It was really weird. It was like, what the hell? It looked like I know it was like reversible with a bit of drugs, but you sent it me and I was like, what the fuck? That looks fucking horrid. What the hell? And then I think you even sent me a picture of the little scrap of pathetic tissue he put over your vein as well, where he dragged the vein out.
Yeah, and I was like bleeding all over the bed. It was like, oh, what the fuck?
Like blood all over the place.
It was a nice hotel as well. I think it was a 4-star hotel.
That was a really weird. I mean, that was a really weird set of
honestly,
pictures to receive.
But where would I like to go? I would like to see somewhere like. I think I'd like to go to Tokyo or somewhere like that. South Korea, like one of their cities, somewhere like that, just because it's so totally different. Like, I wouldn't mind going to America, you know, maybe see New York or something, but I don't. To be honest, I'm not really that fussed about that. I think I'd like to go somewhere in America just to see what it's like. But I've also been to Portugal as well. I forgot about that. I've been to Portugal. I'd like to see like Tokyo or something like that, which is just totally different.
I think
Russia.
No matter Russia. No, actually, there's something. I wouldn't mind going on the Trans-Siberia Express.
Didn't watch the face do that. Hang on, what was he called? He's got a famous brother. A TV presenter. He did it, and I remember watching that on the telly. Frost.
Possibly.
Is it Frost?
David? No, not David Frost.
No, not David Frost. One of them's got. There's two of them. They're both reporters for the BBC.
Oh yeah. I know who you mean. Humphreys, something Humphreys.
I don't know, but
John Humphreys.
Basically, one of them went across Siberia on that train, and not just Siberia, went across. And it was really interesting, honestly. Like St. Petersburg, that looks funky.
Yeah, I'd quite like to do that, but in terms of just going somewhere for like a week, I want to go somewhere that's totally different to anywhere I've been before. Like I've been to France loads of times, and it's nice, but I'd kind of like to go somewhere.
Hang on, you say that, Curry, right? Curry says in the chat you don't want to go to New York, it's shite. I live in a small town. I do not live in a place with fucking skyscrapers all over the place. No. I live in a small town, like Mr. Kirioff does, although he's a slightly bigger town. But in the grand scheme of things, small town. We have a lot of woodland all over us. Around us, there's there's not lakes, but I guess there is, I suppose. But there's a lot of woodland. It's like we live in the woods, basically. This is not a metropolis. That's what I would like to see, because it's just not where, I've never seen that. So it would be interesting to see it.
Yeah, something completely different. Something that I can look at and go, whoa, I've never seen that before. I mean, it was quite nice going to, when we went to Paris.
Yeah,
to take a look at Shootmania Storm. I mean, Paris is completely different to any other city that I've ever been to, because everything has been kept like as traditional as possible. So the entire city feels like one big place. London is really disjointed. You've got, just getting on the train at London, there's that massive hotel next to it, which is mental. But on the other side of it, you've got like massive 60s concrete blocks of offices, and it looks really like every era in history has been crammed into one small area.
Although it was interesting speaking to the guys in Paris who said they would give anything to live in London, because nothing goes on in Paris. As impressive as it is, Paris, everything goes on in London. Like literally, there's tons of events going on in London. So they said they would live there all the time.